Turn on the TV or flick through social media and someone will be banging on about how wrong it is that some people are richer than they are. But what would they prefer? A system where everyone is assigned a job which pays the same as everyone else, where there's no such thing as rich people. That's called communism, and it hasn't worked very well when it's been tried in the past.
Fortunately, we live in a capitalist society. Capitalism is not perfect. For one thing, it actively promotes inequality, helping the rich to get richer by investing. But is wealth inequality in fact essential for capitalism to operate, rather than an unfortunate side effect?
Without the possibility to better yourself financially, what would be the motivation for people to try hard at work? Why would James Dyson bother to improve our lives with his clever gadgets? Why would Jeff Bezos have bothered to start Amazon, which not only saves us all money and time, but proved itself an essential service during lockdown?
There are different types of financial inequality, and while some are necessary, others do need to go. In this video, we're laying out the pros and cons of inequality, and whether income and wealth inequality is a problem or something to be celebrated. Let's check it out. Welcome to Unshackled.com, the investment and finance channel and website that sets you and your finances free.
That was Andy and I'm Ben, and if you like what we say, hit the like button and click subscribe. Types of inequality. Some inequality is undoubtedly wrong. Treating people differently based on their skin colour or their gender should always be called out and tackled head on. This video is about financial inequality, the gap between the rich and the poor, and to what extent that should be reduced, if at all.
There are two main areas that we want to cover on financial inequality. One, income or wealth inequality, whether it's okay that some people make more than others or own more assets. And two, educational inequality, which limits the opportunities of poorer families. This is undoubtedly a genuine problem in the UK right now, which we'll come back to later.
Arguments for income or wealth inequality. Number one, it means anyone can be rich. In a truly equal society, everyone is equally mediocre. In a society with income and wealth inequality, however, anyone has the opportunity to better themselves. For us, the answer is to ensure we are on the right side of the divide by investing.
We'd go further and say that winning under capitalism is achievable for everyone. You just need to take measured risk. Playing it safe results in a steady but average job. Taking risks can result in a large investment portfolio or even ownership of an epic business you started.
If you want to embrace the inequality of capitalism, start an investment portfolio. Nowadays, you can buy stocks and funds without the fees by using free trading apps.
Freetrade is one of these pioneering apps, and we think it's a great place to start building your portfolio. You will be given a free stock to get you started when you fund a new account with at least £1, but only by following the link below.
Can everyone be rich? Why does equality necessarily mean that everyone has to be mediocre? Well, it wouldn't work. If everyone was equally rich, prices would go up in the shops, in the housing market and everywhere else. People's standard of living would not change. It would be like when you get an inflationary pay rise. Your pay goes up, but so does everything else.
Number two, rewarded for helping society. Under capitalism, you are rewarded in terms of the number of people you are able to help, or more accurately, the amount of value you have added to the world. We mentioned Jeff Bezos earlier. Is it fair that he should be worth $182 billion?
We'd argue yes. Amazon serves 300 million people worldwide, half of which subscribe as Prime members. They obviously feel their lives have been improved by the service he provides. In terms of the tax the rich pay, The Telegraph reports that the highest 5% of earners contribute half of the tax receipts in the UK. The tax a high earner like Jeff pays can probably pay for several hospitals.
Compare and contrast to this guy, some randomer working a 9-to-5 job clicking buttons. He helps society only a little.
His taxes are small, maybe enough to pay for some potholes to be filled. He works alongside 50 other people doing a similar task that countless others could do in his place. Should he be paid the same as Jeff Bezos?
Number three, it is the fairest system. Of all the economic models, being paid based on the value you add is the fairest system. We don't believe a system is unequal that rewards someone for their hard work and the risks they take. Someone on minimum wage may feel that the system is unfair because they get barely anything, while the bigwig who owns the company they work for is loaded.
But in truth, the worker is adding significantly less value than their boss. The company owner has created paid employment, perhaps for hundreds of people, and invented a product that makes millions of lives easier.
If some kind of communal redistribution of wealth were to take place, such that the owner and the worker receive the same income after taxes, the owner would feel unfairly treated, quite justifiably. The next budding entrepreneur to come along would not bother investing their time and money into creating new jobs and products, as they would look at how unfairly other creators had been treated.
Number 4. Real-world examples. The experiment of taking away people's motivation to financially better themselves has been tried several times before. The result is always that people work significantly less, or at least less productively, corruption goes up, and people are less inspired to innovate.
This is what happened in the former Soviet Union and is currently causing economic stagnation in communist countries such as Venezuela, Cuba and North Korea. But as China has increasingly adopted capitalism, hundreds of millions of people have been dragged out of poverty and into the middle classes.
Arguments for income or wealth equality. Number 1. Equality leads to a more stable society. When asset prices are booming, the gap between the haves and the have-nots widens. This can lead to political instability, even revolutions. In the public narrative, financial inequality is on the rise in the UK. Rising asset prices may have increased wealth inequality, i.e. rich people's net worths, but income inequality is not really on the rise. It's pretty much unchanged over the last 20 years, as we can see here from ONS figures for 3 definitions of income.
The lines track the Gini coefficient, which measures income inequality. Gini coefficients vary between 0% and 100%, and the lower the value, the more equally household income is distributed. But the UK does have a high level of income inequality. We can see here those same 3 definitions of income for 5 sections of the UK population, each representing 20% of households from poorest to richest.
Splits like this are one reason why populism has emerged on both the left and the right side of politics. Poorer people are more satisfied and less likely to overthrow the system in societies where everyone else is as poor as they are.
We've shown this graph before of the history of wealth inequality. As the red line representing the top 0.1% of earners rises and the blue line representing normal people falls, that means inequality is on the rise.
It didn't end well last time. Think Stalin, Hitler and Mussolini. It might be best to try and avoid that all happening again by closing the wealth gap somehow.
Number 2, the poor struggle to catch up. If you own investment assets, you have an advantage over people who do not. It means your wealth will continue to go up above and beyond what you earn by working yourself, giving you an extra boost away from the living standards that low earners are able to achieve.
Low earners will find it difficult to acquire assets from their job income, and so their total income stagnates, while higher earners can buy income-producing assets to ensure their total incomes grow bigger. In this way, the poor struggle to catch up. There's nothing stopping them from getting rich eventually, it's just a harder starting point.
Number 3, an end to poverty. There is no reason in the modern world that poverty should still exist in rich countries, and yet it does. We're fully behind putting an end to poverty, and equality of incomes is one way to do this.
Do we have a wealth inequality problem or not? Most commentators argue for a middle ground approach, reducing wealth inequality by raising taxes on the rich, while not going so far as to trash capitalism entirely. But we think rather than messing further with people's earned wealth, it should be the job of government to ensure there's a level playing field when it comes to opportunities, so anyone with aspiration can succeed.
The solution? Fix educational inequality. The education gap is where kids from middle-class families tend to get a better education than kids from poorer families, meaning wealth opportunities tend to stay within families. It was getting slowly better prior to 2020, but has been set back potentially by decades by the lockdowns, with a massive dividing line drawn between the haves and the have-nots.
Closing the schools has resulted in substandard online teaching, with middle-class kids likely to spend more than 30% more time doing their homeschooling than kids from less well-off families. If richer kids are getting a normal education and poorer kids aren't, this will only serve to keep wealth opportunities within already well-off families.
BOSA needs to open the schools as soon as possible and then throw every resource into correcting educational inequality quickly.
No need for poverty. You can still have income and wealth inequality and eradicate poverty. Indeed, this should be made a priority. If you support the poorest to get a good education, job and home, there's sound financial arguments that they will provide back more in taxes than what they took in benefits. Everybody wins.
Question of the day: do we need income and wealth inequality? Join the conversation in the comments below. Thanks for watching. On this channel we talk a lot about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is MoneyUnshackled.com. See you next time.